Sunday Guardian Roundtable. This week we shall be discussing the impact of the state elections on the national scenario. I have with me a panel of experts. There's Mr. Madhav Nalapat, Managing Editor of Sunday Guardian. We have Manish Tiwari, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party. He's also a former Union Minister. Radhika Ramaseshan, Political Editor of the Telegraph. And Samvit Patra, National Spokesperson for the BJP. Manish, I'll begin with you first. Is it the common perception is that the Congress has really more to lose than the BJP, because there are two stakes which you're ruling over right now, and if you lose these two, then the Congress really will have a big problem on its hands.
Well, Priya, ultimately, you started off by saying that what is going to be the impact of this round of elections on the national scenario. Unfortunately, in any parliamentary term, every 7 months you have elections in some state or the other. If you look at the current parliamentary term, starting from the February of 2015, which was Delhi, then going on to Bihar, November 2015, and then you have the current round of elections in 5 states. So therefore there is something or the other which is always impacting or not impacting the national scenario. So let us presume that in this particular round of elections, where of course the Congress definitely has a bigger stake than the Bharatiya Janata Party, the results turn out to be positive for the Congress Party. Would that really have an impact on the national scenario? The answer would be yes. Presuming if the results turn out to be negative for the Congress Party, would that also have an impact on the national scenario? That is correct. Correspondingly, for example, if things don't turn out well for the BJP, and if it is coming on the back of Delhi and Bihar, then obviously it is going to impact the central government. The short point I'm trying to make is that today, because of the cyclic nature of state elections every 6 or 7 months, whether you would like to deny it or not, the fact is that it does impact national politics, even if it's an election in a small state somewhere.
But who has more to lose? That's my question.
Well, correspondingly, the converse question would be who has more to gain. For example, let us suppose if you are, hypothetically speaking, unable to retain power in a particular place, but you are correspondingly able to pick up another place, even maybe in an alliance. Now, therefore, that dynamic plays itself out completely differently. And since we are in the middle of these polls, if you would do this program again on the, let's say, the 22nd of May or something, you can concretely be able to find out as to, how this current round has impacted governance at the national level, has impacted BJP, has impacted the Congress, and has impacted the regional players. Because one thing which you need to keep in mind is that this election may also see the emergence of more regional players.
I should have also mentioned in my introduction that Manish is a lawyer, because I haven't got a straight answer out of him. Samvit, is the BJP, hopeful of any state, and if you do not make an impact, then how would that read after Bihar, after Delhi?
First, starting on a different note, I would congratulate you, Priya, for having brought this topic into discussion, because as a national spokesperson, I have attended number of debates on Bihar during the elections and other elections. But the irony with Indian media is, especially when you have elections in the northeast or in the south of this country, generally it is not debated. So when it is coming to the forefront of a debate through the NewsX channel and through your show, I would really like to congratulate that you have brought this into the focus. As far as who gains and who loses out, I would say naturally BJP probably had nothing to lose, because we had 1 seat in Bengal, look at the seats in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. As far as Assam is concerned, I have been going through most of the opinion polls, and I believe that BJP is surely coming to power in Assam. So naturally, prima facie, I would say, though Manish is a lawyer, but I will use a legal term and say prima facie, it appears that Bharatiya Janata Party is going to in fact gain big way. Government in Assam, and opening accounts in places where it did not have any seat, furthering its cause in states where it had only 1 or 2 seats.
So the short-term vision of a Congress Mukt Bharat and long-term vision of a pan-India BJP, is that what your plan
definitely. I mean, Southeast, South election in South, which is mostly taken up by the Dravidian parties, by the regional parties. If you open your account there, naturally it matters a lot for the Bharatiya Janata Party, because you would see that mostly Bharatiya Janata Party is told to be a party of the cow belt or of the mainland.
Correct.
But if we open an account elsewhere, naturally it is a big win for us. And in Assam, it was unimaginable a few years ago that Assam would come the BJP way. If it's coming a BJP way, definitely it's a boost for the kind of developmental work that the central government is doing.
Does the BJP have any chance to be hopeful in Assam? That is one of the states that is, very difficult to predict.
Assam is very significant. It may be small in size, it may sort of just throw up 14 Lok Sabha MPs, but remember it's the gateway to the northeast, and the northeast has been a completely neglected part of the country as far as the BJP is concerned. I mean, the BJP is still sort of fixated on this Hindustan kind of outlook, and they haven't really seriously penetrated either the south or the east. So this is as good a chance as they can get, and if they don't make it this time, then it's going to be a long haul. So through Assam, then they could possibly have an impact on other states like Nagaland, Manipur, Arunachal, where they are supporting a government. But in order to make a long-term impact on the Northeast, they will have to jettison some of their core beliefs. And that I don't see the BJP doing in a long time, because the BJP is so wedded to the RSS, and the RSS has certainly got a foothold in many of these states. So with the RSS on its back, it seems unlikely that the BJP will make a footprint anywhere beyond Assam. Assam does have a big Hindu population. So therefore it was easier for the BJP to polarize the state, as they seem to have done in these elections. So otherwise, it's a long haul. I mean, that's the reason they're not able to get anywhere in Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu politics is entirely different. Beef, for instance, is sold openly in the markets of Chennai. I don't know how the BJP and the RSS are going to cope with that kind of thing. So they will have to snap out of their old framework of looking at things.
So, I want
Quick
to
10 seconds. I mean, when Radhika ji says that, in fact, the Bharatiya Janata Party has polarized the Assam elections, I would beg to differ from her and say that, well, remember, it was only about 2 days ago when one of the persons called Mr. Ansari, who was in Gujarat, who belongs to Gujarat, his posters were used in Assam by the Congress Party to show cause the 2002 riots. Ansari objected and has gone to the court saying that why the Congress, without taking permission of his, used his posters, like the Kanhaiya's posters were being used in Assam. So who is polarizing, in fact?
No, your party members are openly saying that it's an Assamia. I mean, it's Ahomia. They can't even
It's not
pronounce
polarization, Hindu versus
Ahomia
Muslim.
versus
It is-
non-Ahomia.
it is
I mean, they are
ethnicity
saying
that we are
that.
focusing
They are saying
towards.
that.
Mr. Nalabat, can I bring you into this debate also? We spoke about the BJP's stakes over here, in this thing. But what about the Congress? If it loses, it's right now in 7 states. So if it loses 2, then it will be down to 5. So is the Congress needs to worry more than the BJP?
Well, actually, I've been tracking the way the Congress party is evolving its tactics post Rahul Gandhi really taking center stage in the leadership. And now you see they have an alliance with the left front in Bengal, and that's something which few of us ever thought would ever happen. They've done that.
Considering
They've
he
gone
mocked
back
them
to
in
the-
2014.
Absolutely. They've gone back to, after a lot of acrimony, they've gone back to the DMK. Don't forget that the Congress party broke away and brought down the Gujarat government on the issue of the DMK remaining in the government. So now they're friends once again. So tactically, in my view, the Congress is aiming at 2019. And it's basically aiming at a non-BJP government in Delhi at 2019. So I'm not really going to, the fact is the expectations for Congress are so low. If it beats expectations, for example, in Assam, if they become single largest party, even without a majority, if they do quite well in Tamil Nadu, if they beat expectations, I think they come out relatively more successful. The BJP, the expectations are pitched so high that even if it does moderately well, it will be seen as not enough.
Manish, you want to comment on the Congress's plans?
No, Priya, what this election really underscores is the fact that notwithstanding the fact that the BJP has a government in Delhi, it still does not have any significant or substantive pan-national presence. Kerala, they are virtually on the margins. You may pick up a seat here or there. Tamil Nadu, if you go by the opinion polls, it is suggesting 0. West Bengal, they are nowhere in the scene. And the fact that they have to fight the Congress, trench by trench, even after 15 years of the Congress having ruled in Assam, is itself a testimony to the governance which the Congress gave in Assam. And in Pondicherry or Puducherry, they are completely irrelevant. So therefore, in this particular round of elections, in fact, the complete marginalization of the BJP as a national party, becomes more stark and evident, and that's a fact which none of us can escape from. Insofar as the Congress-left alliance is concerned, I guess what really brought about the polarization, which led to an alliance of the progressive and the secular forces, was the 2002 Gujarat pogrom. In fact, the left and the Congress and the other progressive parties started coming together after the February of 2002. It's a different matter that on the question of the US civil nuclear deal, we had differences with the left. But even from 2008 onwards, even after the no confidence vote, I can say it with a reasonable degree of confidence that there were contacts, formal, informal, with the left parties. So therefore, what you are really seeing is a natural alliance which is emerging, that where the fundamentalist forces have to be fought, the left and the Congress would be together, or the progressive forces would be together. Where the space is occupied by the progressive forces, they will fight amongst themselves, as in Kerala. So therefore, some may call it a contradiction, but this is not really a contradiction. This is, as Mr. Nalpat was pointing out, that if you look at things in the context of 2019, this is how the battle is going to pan out.
In fact, as far as the left and the Congress alliance is concerned, let me pick a few words from what Mr. Arun Jaitley spoke only a few days ago, when he said that it's, in fact, Congress is finding solace to be the tail end of a coalition. And that shows the desperation of the Congress. And I was listening to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the Vice President, only a few days ago, while he was delivering a speech in Kerala, when he spoke of the ills of the left. While in Bengal the same day he was speaking about the goods of the left, the same day while delivering a lecture in Kerala he was speaking about the ills of the left. And when such a scenario takes place on the very same day, it compounds the confusion within the Congress. It shows as to what kind of confusion exists, and that's the reason as to why probably Mr. Jaitley would have used such words as tail end of a coalition just for mere existence. Secondly, let me borrow a few more words from one of my good friends who wrote an article recently, Last of the Mohicans. Remember, as far as the Chief Minister, Mr. Gogoi, in Assam is concerned, if you look from the prism of Congress, he is one of the few leaders who has, rightly pointed out by Manish, for 15 long years, he was a grounded leader. It is almost that this election we would have the last of the Mohicans, when some of the tallest leaders of the Congress, the rare breed in fact, would be falling down to the ground. So it is, come what may for the other parties, it is a matter of great worry for Congress, because after all they would be left with few leadership. Because after Mr. Gogoi, it would only be Siddaramaiah who would be one of their tallest leaders. As far as Kerala is concerned,
Veerbhadra, unless you have plans for his
so
government also.
Veerbhadra's demolition has already started because of his own acts. So only one who remains is Mr. Siddaramaiah, and we are aware of the kind of activities he is into right now. But coming to Kerala, a state which has gone into election, look at the corruption that has eaten into the government there. We have Mr. Oman Chandi, who has not only been embroiled in scandals named by this.
Who do you have to offer in Kerala?
No, I agree. We have no one to offer probably in Kerala, but even if we make inroads, which we are going to make, that would be a beginning of a new story in Kerala, and that's what is a victory.
Let us preempt his celebration. He's in a very celebratory
May
mood,
I
Radhika.
just, for a second come in, perhaps it is better to be the tail ender of an alliance rather than sit outside the stadium, which you see with the BJP, all across the 5 states. It's all yours, Radhika.
Yeah, this whole Kerala, West Bengal, the way the equations are panning out is interesting. In West Bengal, the alliance came about primarily because of grassroots pressure. There was a lot of pressure from the workers on both sides, workers and the regional leaders, panchayat, block level leaders, to go in for this alliance in order to fight Mamata Banerjee. The issue there is Mamata Banerjee. I mean, she's the
Not the
central
BJP.
pole and certainly not the BJP. So you can say it's one progressive coalition fighting another progressive force, because you can't fault Mamata for being fundamentalist or regressive in any way. I mean, there are corruption charges, etc., but that's another story. In Kerala, I think, somewhere the left and the UDF are finding it a bit difficult to explain the Bengal arrangement, and therefore the left, which was thought of as a pro-Hindu party, might probably cede ground to the BJP for the first time. And to be fair, the BJP and the RSS have been very active on the ground in Kerala. I mean, we who cover the BJP know the Kerala leaders keep coming to Delhi and, sharing their concerns, their problems with the central leaders. There have been murders, grisly murders, and, central teams have rushed. So there is a seriousness of intent on the BJP's part as far as Kerala is concerned for the very first time, which is missing in Tamil Nadu. So Kerala might be the breakthrough state for the BJP.
Is Kerala the breakthrough state?
The problem with the Marxist party is facing Kerala is that you got Achyutanandan and you got Mr. Vijayan. Now, obviously, Vijayan would be the correct candidate for Chief Minister. Mr. Achyutanandan is past 90, but he's not willing to surrender his prerogative, and he's fighting the election. So that's, I think, confusing the voter quite a lot, and I think that's going to have some impact on the CPM vote. And I quite agree. See, one thing the Congress is consolidated in Kerala is a minority vote. Now, in Assam, the question is, will that vote be split between Mr. Ajmal and the Congress party? If you notice in Bihar, it was not split. The MIM was a complete failure in attracting the minority vote. The question is whether the minorities will vote tactically this time around as well. And one of the problems that the BJP is facing is all this talk about beef and culture, etc. It's having an impact on the minorities and consolidating the minority vote bank. And it's much easier to consolidate the minority vote bank than to consolidate the majority vote bank. So my own view is not going to be a very easy way for the BJP. When the results come out, we'll know about that. And secondly, again, so far the Congress is concerned, I think the Congress party is understanding its weaknesses as shown in 2014, is adjusting to that tactically. And I do believe that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, for example, he can certainly wait for another 5 years beyond 2019 to make a bid for power.
I don't know if we should wait for that long, but anyway, we need to take a short break, but stay with us. Welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. We are here discussing the impact of the state elections on the national scenario. Manish, Parliament is also going to be starting soon. So, in fact, I have a story here in the Sunday Guardian which talks about the opposition is trying to cobble together a working majority in the Rajya Sabha. They're reaching out to regional parties like a Mamta or, but given the fact that you're taking on most of the state leaders, would they be able to achieve that? Or would it be even more acrimonious now?
You see, ultimately, let's step back for a moment from the state elections and look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that there is huge economic distress in this country as we speak. This government has completely lost the plot on the economy. They've completely lost the plot in Pakistan. These are the two big strategic challenges that India faces. Coupled with that, they will have to get the president's rule validated in Uttarakhand if it is not struck down by the divisional bench of the High Court before that. So therefore, there are significant challenges which this government is going to face, both in the Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha. And considering that the parliament session is going to come before the end of polling in many states, Tamil Nadu polls on the 18th of March, 16th of March, Kerala, I think, polls all around the same, on the 16th of March, around the same time. 16th of May. And West Bengal, is going through this phased elections, which also would need to factor in the parliament elections, in the parliament session. So therefore, there would be very significant challenges which this government would be facing, coupled with the fact that even on the budget, of course, they would be able to get the budget through because they have a majority in the Lok Sabha. But even on the budget, there are going to be some very serious questions which are going to be raised. You have this unprecedented situation that jewelers across this country now have been on strike for over 35, 40 days. It's another matter whether you want to impose excise or you don't want to impose excise. But the fact that this government has not even tried reaching out saying it's either my way or the highway is very indicative of their style of governance. That's the short point I'm trying to make.
Okay, Mr. Nalapathy,
No,
you want to
I want to say that, I want to add to what Manish is saying. The fact of the matter is that, Mr. Chidambaram was awful so far as the tax administration was concerned. I mean, he gave full powers to the Babus and the taxpayers suffered. Unfortunately, we're not seeing enough of a change now. With the result that what the dwellers are worried about is not so much the excise, but the harassment at the hands of the authorities and the bribes and other things that you have to pay. And unfortunately, the BJP is supposed to give a business-friendly government. It's supposed to give a taxpayer-friendly government. It's supposed to have, in the words of Prime Minister, minimum government. But we're not seeing that in action. And I think this is affecting the BJP vote bank in the urban areas. It's specifically affecting the middle class vote.
Just to add to that, the 1% excise was imposed on the jewelers in 2012 by a UPA government also, and then subsequently rolled back, because as Mr. Nalpat said, it was not about how much that 1% is going to bring in, but the concern was about subjecting the jewelers to the tender mercies of the excise department.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to give you the last thing because I think you're going to have a lot to answer for.
I'd like to bring you back to the composition, the equations in the Rajya Sabha. Now, the Trinamool it's going to be very interesting to see which way the Trinamool swings. I mean, in the last session, there were indications that they had warmed up to the ruling coalition, the NDA coalition. But post this, the bitter fight that they've had with the left and the Congress, it will be interesting to see that whether they will be part of the larger opposition coalition that the Congress would probably like to stitch. And then you have the two UP parties, the Samajwadi and
Let's not forget.
the BSP. Yeah, I mean, the Samajwadi is going to increase its strength shortly. Now, you have elections coming in Uttar Pradesh, and the BJP is the third major pole in the party. So whether these two parties will try to be as equidistant as they were towards the BJP, I mean, we have to wait and see. So this whole business about forging a larger opposition coalition seems a bit distant to me at the moment.
Especially given the fact that the elections are still going on.
Yeah.
Priya, I feel we are discussing on this 5 elections that are going on. I mean, look into these states, state-wise, each of them. I mean, as far as Assam and Bengal is concerned, the nervousness of the leaders of the Congress was palpable. Congress and others also was palpable. Remember, when the elections, in fact, were in the last phase in Assam last time, the Chief Minister himself came out and addressed a press conference, despite the fact that he was warned by the Election Commission not to hold a press conference. Thankfully, the media did not carry the press conference. And the result was there was an FIR against the Chief Minister. It shows that nervousness is taken on him, or else he would not have held a press conference despite the warning. We have seen as to how Mamata Banerjee went to the extent of naming that Asansol would be a district, and in fact now we have a case against her by the Election Commission, and Mamata is in fact explaining that she did not do anything wrong. We have heard of a syndicate functioning in Bengal all this while, when suddenly we see a bridge collapsing and people killed under the bridge. So naturally corruption was something quite central to the administration both in Assam and as far as Bengal is concerned. My heart cries, in fact, because I stay neighboring to Bengal from Orissa. There was a time when it was said that what Bengal thinks today, India thinks tomorrow. What has happened to Bengal? I mean, Bengal has only traveled from the frying pan to the fire, from the left to Mamata. It has only devastated itself. It is high time that Bengal realizes, mends its ways, and Bengal becomes one of the most important states of the country, because they're smart people, they are people who can change the country. But irony is, because of lackadaisical approach of the administration, that's not happening. And today I was going to in fact, the interview in the Times of India of the BJP chief of Kerala. He has rightly pointed out, look at Kerala. The biggest exporter of citizens outside is Kerala, despite the fact that Kerala was one place which set up the first IT industry in this country. Despite that, we do not have employment there. Things have to change, alternatives have to be found. People, in fact, in Kerala are vying for this alternative, and I hope, keeping my fingers crossed, that we would be the alternative, looking at the Modi model of development in the center.
The BJP was also its confused approach in Bengal. I mean, they started off on an aggressive note after the Lok Sabha elections, where they polled a decent vote percentage. But after that, thanks to the compulsions in Parliament and this whole business about getting Mamata's support to pass GST, etc., the state leaders were told to go soft on Mamata, and the local unit was demoralized. Believe me, as a result of this. And now suddenly they've rediscovered their aggressive pitch. So the BJP has to make up its mind what it wants to do with Mamta.
I think both the parties have to make up their mind. The Congress has to decide whether it's opposing the left in one state or allying with them the other. BJP, if it's being friendly with Mamta at the center, opposing her at the state. So as you can see, a lot of interesting times ahead. But from us, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this edition of Roundtable. We'll see you again, same time next week.